The Mission District of San Francisco is a lively, vibrant area, especially at night. There is a seedy underbelly to all of the lights and frills, though. Prostitution, gang violence, drug addiction are the norm around 16th Street, starting at Valencia. These vices suck people in from all walks of life, usually ending in their demise. Sadly, for many individuals, they never make it out. The Hotel Royan sits at the intersection of 15th Street and Valencia in San Francisco's Mission District. It is seemingly innocuous from the outside. In the neighborhood's better days, it housed some of San Francisco's most famous names of the time, such as Joe DiMaggio and author Oscar Zeta Acosta. This hotel, however, has not housed many famous people since the 1960s, ever since the Mission Valencia neighborhood fell into decline in the 1970s. So did this hotel and many others in the surrounding areas. Even with the neighborhood moving rapidly toward gentrification, many of these hotels now house transients and low-income individuals. This particular hotel is sadly best known by the locals for the death of Oscar Scaggs in late December of 1999. In 1999, Oscar Scaggs was 21 years old. The son of Boz and Carmela Scaggs had been having problems off and on with heroin use since his teens. He had been to rehab at least once and had a few relapses. In the 1990s, San Francisco was going through a black tar heroin crisis. Black tar is a type of heroin from Mexico that is particularly potent and powerful. At that time, it was a battle between competitors, China White and black tar heroin. In 1999, San Francisco saw a surge of overdose deaths due to black tar heroin. Oscar Scaggs was unfortunately among those who succumbed to its persuasion. Oscar was a bright and sweet kid by all accounts, having grown up in Russian Hill district of San Francisco and attending the best of schools. He was unaffected by his rich lifestyle apparently, and chose to spend his time with the skateboard kids regularly. But he was depressed after losing his best friend that he grew up with, Nicholas Trania. Nicholas was the son of Danielle Steele. They had met some years ago while attending a private school together. Nicholas died in 1997 of an accidental drug overdose a few years before Oscar would witness his own death of the same thing. It is unclear where and when Oscar began using heroin, only confessing it to his mother Carmela a few years before. It was at this time that her and Oscar's father sought an out-of-state rehab to send him to. The rehab worked for about half a year, and Oscar succumbed again to the lure of heroin. When one wants to find heroin or any other drug in San Francisco, there are specific areas and places to do it. Anyone with a habit will figure this out quickly in any city. One such place in the city at that time was the Mission District. The Mission District in the 1990s had a considerable amount of gang violence, drug sales, and prostitution. It also had many SROs or single occupancy hotels. Most of these hotels were from the early 20s and 30s and were basically rooms on every floor with a sink and a shared bathroom at the end of the hall. These buildings were taken over by the city and a few private investors and were rented to the poorest parts of the public through city contract, and often ended up infested with drugs, violence, roaches, and bed bugs. In San Francisco, they are given a nickname, suicide hotels, due to the amount of overdoses every year. The week before Oscar passed away, he had attended a trivia contest with his mother, a shared activity they both loved. This would be the last time she saw Oscar alive. On December 31st of 1999, Oscar Scaggs was found dead in the bathroom of room 209 of the Hotel Royan in the Mission District. Although Oscar's death was tragic, it is not an uncommon occurrence here, sadly. Today in San Francisco, we have a fentanyl crisis as the leading cause of death currently. This is because nearly all general street drugs are mixed with fentanyl. We still have the suicide hotels. We still have the drugs, but now stronger. Nothing has changed since the sad death of young Oscar. We mourn his death and all that have passed from this terrible disease of drug addiction. If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction, please do all that you can to get them into rehab. If you are a person considering using drugs, please do not. It will lead you down a horrible path that you will not be able to get away from. You will end up dead, in prison, or you will go through rehab and help others. You are lucky if you live to go through rehab and help others, but these are the rarest in scenarios. One thing for sure, you will suffer greatly, and those around you will suffer greatly. May you rest in peace, Oscar.